What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rescape Gaming Podcast. We are so happy you're here. This is your escape from reality. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Greg McConnell. I'm joined by the ever-present, the ever-man-bunning, the ever-sea-stoving Corey Stover.
Hello, and no bottle cap this time. Sorry, guys.
Nope. No bottle cap for him to play with. Click, 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 click.
This time I have a pen.
I have a pen, yeah. And a crinkly water bottle.
Yep.
How are you doing today, Corey?
I'm fantastic. How are you, sir?
Oh, I am fantismo. I was going to say fantastic, but you used fantastic, so you stole my word.
We can both be fantastic. That's okay.
Well, I did drink Fanta yesterday, outside.
I did not.
So-
I'm still fantastic.
Oh, man. Well, welcome to our podcast. Like I said, we like to see our podcast as an escape from reality. Corey and I have been playing video games our entire lives. We're pretty average at them, most of them, except for Call of Duty. We're pretty great at that. And Rocket League. We're pretty great at that. But that's beside the point. This is just two average guys talking about video games, giving our opinions on them, and hoping you guys like to listen to our stupid takes. So, Corey, what have you been playing? You been playing anything recently? What you been playing?
Since the last podcast, I finished Wolfenstein: The New Order and Tomb Raider Definitive Edition.
Look at you.
Yes, and I started Link's Awakening.
Which one?
DX, of course.
X.
The only one worth playing. No, I'm just kidding. Play the black and white one if you want. It's just not as good as DX.
Now, for our viewers out there that might not know the difference, can you tell them the difference between the two?
DX was on the original Game Boy. It is black and white. It doesn't have the owls that help you, that give you hints and stuff. It doesn't have the color dungeon, and it just doesn't look as good. So there might be some other differences. I haven't played a ton of the original, but those are probably the biggest ones.
I didn't realize the owls weren't in the first one.
Yep.
Those owls are annoying, but they're quite helpful. They're not as annoying as Ocarina of Time's owls.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the little eye things you hit that go...
No, there's owls. There's an owl in Ocarina of Time that like pops up and talks to you for 30 minutes all the time.
Oh, that owl pops up in this game too. He talks to you for 2 minutes instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's quite easy because you're like, oh, okay. And he's like, go to the south. Check out the beach. I'm like, okay, that's where I'm headed now.
True. Yeah. I like the Ocarina of Time one though, because he turns his head upside down for like a while, and like he still looks like he has a face, and you're like, wait a minute, is that a face? And he goes back the other way, and you're kind of like staring at him.
Yeah, I just don't like the music on the Ocarina of Time. It's all like somber and when he's talking.
Never say that again.
Only when he's talking. Like it's his own like soundtrack. I don't like the owl soundtrack.
I feel you.
It's okay to not like something in a game that I love.
I have very vivid memories of, because the first time the owl pops up in Ocarina of Time is when you leave Kakiri Forest. So I have very vivid memories of like finally figuring out how to get out of there, and then he's like, and it's like, and he starts talking to you, and like I just see this grand adventure ahead of me. So like I have good memories with the owl.
I understand that it needs to hold your hand a little bit because it was such a revolution in gaming, but like, I feel like it was just too much hand holding.
That owl should have been on our top 10 characters of all time.
If you could tell me his actual name, I will approve your top 10 characters.
Owl.
Oh, it's just Owl?
I'm going to look it up.
I'm pretty sure he probably has a name. Every other creature in the entire Zelda franchise has names, even though no one specifically says the names. Like, all of these creatures, they're like, oh, that's a blah, blah, blah.
I have his name.
What's his name?
Kapora Gabora. Oh, it's Kapora Gabora. That's his name.
Kapora Gabora. That's way more distinct than Owl.
He's a wise old owl that assists Link throughout his adventures.
Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, Link's Awakening is the first appearance of him.
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Link's Awakening DX.
Wait, no. That owl is in the black and white one. The owls you have to like stick their beak on, and then like it'll give you hints and stuff. Or you can go
those owls.
Yeah, those owls.
In the dungeons. So, in each dungeon there's... Really?
Yeah, you don't remember that little statue you can walk up to? He's like right by the... I don't remember exactly where he is, but he's fatter than the ones in the. It's like really fat owl-looking things, and you can talk to them. They give you hints.
The problem is with what you're telling me is each dungeon had a stone beak you had to find.
Yeah, those aren't there, and there's owls outside of the dungeons. I'm pretty sure they're owls. They look different, but they give you hints too.
Oh, I don't remember those. I could be wrong. I just don't.
I'm also playing The Witness.
Yep. Moving on.
Right
Good transition.
Yeah. And still trying at Crash. I've beaten a few more levels.
Trash Bandicoot, huh? Still in your PS4.
And Final Fantasy VI. I'm chugging through that at night before bed. It's my before bed game. But anyways,
how far into that are you?
I am 9 hours in, I think.
9 hours in? And it's only like a 12-hour game, right?
No, it's like 40.
But you like it? That's the one where magic is illegal, right?
What's illegal?
Magic in that game? Isn't magic like illegal? And like they hate wizards?
They hate Vespers.
Vespers? But aren't Vespers the people who can do magic?
Yeah. There's like a race issue going on there. Like, you're a Vesper! Bah! Like, and the Vespers are humans because humans don't like it. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah. Anyway. I got pretty far in that one. I've never beat it.
You play Final Fantasy VI?
I've never beat it.
I didn't know you even played it.
Here, story time. Confession alert. I've only ever beaten Final Fantasy X. That's the only Final Fantasy game I've ever beaten.
That's the only one. No, it's not. I'm on the final boss now.
Have you beat any of them?
I beat 7.
Oh, okay. The greatest game of all time.
No.
People say no. Anyway, games I'm playing. Thanks for asking, Corey. I've been playing The Witness. I played a little bit of The Witness as well. I think you and I started playing it together because it was free on PlayStation Plus, and we're cheapos. And oh my gosh, that game is hard, dude. There's like a difficulty spike in that game. It's like going through, and there's no instructions. It's just like figure it out. Beautiful game. But I was like, I am a genius. I have an IQ of a 2-year-old. That's how quick it happened. So I've been playing through that a little bit. Been playing through. I beat Link's Awakening DX. So background on why we're both playing this game. We decided we really wanted to play the Switch remake of it that's coming out, and neither one of us have ever played it before. So we wanted to play through the original.
Didn't beat it.
Neither one of us had beat it before. Sorry about that. But we knew within our souls, if we played the remake, we would never go back and play the original. It's just how it's going to happen. So we're like, we'll play the original, and then we'll play the remake. Right?
True, yes.
Truth. Hashtag truth. So, I beat Link's Awakening DX, playing The Witness. I am also playing through Soul Silver still. And that game is just a masterpiece. So those are the games I'm currently playing.
And Skyward Sword?
Oh, Skyward Sword. Yeah, I'm playing through Skyward Sword. I forgot about that game. In fact, I'm going to play that game later today.
He has a Let's Play of Skyward Sword if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, I do. It's on my YouTube channel. I am on episode... I've currently recorded, I want to say, 27 episodes of it. And I think I've uploaded 23 of them just because I don't want to upload more than one a day. So, and I would say I'm probably only halfway through the game.
And I have a
incredibly long.
Yeah, I have a full Let's Play of Wolfenstein up right now, and currently uploading Tomb Raider, and working on my Link's Awakening Let's Play. The Link's Awakening will start after Tomb Raider's finished. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, and check out Corey at C Stove. C-S-T-O-V-E. Not C microwave, not C refrigerator. It's C stove.
Yes, and there's a space between C and stove.
I'm sure they could find it if they didn't put the space though. If they're lazy.
Yeah. Or I'm just so famous, you can just put a C in. I'm the first thing that pops up. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure. I'm sure you are.
It'll probably be Chugga Conroy.
Chugga Conroy here. I like that guy. He's a nice dude. I'd like to meet him someday.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
And my channel, if you didn't know, is Aerodontis. AERODONTIS.
Not
Now,
Windodontus or Fireodontus. I'm just kidding.
yeah, none of those, because I know those are more common than Aerodontus. Anyway, now that we got that housekeeping out of the way, we're gonna talk about our witty title game, which are Witness and Link's Awakening. I know we've already kind of talked about Link's Awakening, but we'll get into a little more detail of it. Corey, what are your impressions of the game? The witty title game of the podcast.
I love this game. I love all Zelda games, but this one I've noticed is it's smack dab in the middle of like if you play the first two Zelda games, they're very rough, very dated. They're still classics, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, they're rough and dated. Like if you're gonna argue with me and get mad about that, you're just being an overly fanboy. And there's not a bigger fanboy of Zelda than me, and I'm just saying
False.
the first two are dated. So this one's slightly dated, but not as bad as those, and it's not up to like A Link to the Past and up either. So it's right in the middle. The only bad thing about it is the item system, because you can only hold 2 items at a time. So like I'll forget I have bombs where my sword was, and then I'll like lay a bomb back, crap, and then like waste my bomb and have to run away from my bomb,
Mm-hmm.
And so, or I'll like forget that I don't have my jump on and I'll fall in a hole. So like it's gonna be cool with the new one to just be able to have like jump. I think is just gonna be a thing. Like you don't have to equip it, and same with probably the bracelet to lift rocks and stuff. But very charming game. I love the music. I love the dungeons. The characters are all charming and cute, and like even the bosses are really funny, and all the side characters are funny. But yeah, I love it. What do you think, Greg?
I am in a lot of the same boat as you. I very much adore this game. I liked it way more than I thought I would. I went going in, I knew there was going to be limitations because it came out on the Game Boy. So, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the first handheld Zelda game, right?
Yeah.
Well, first handheld Zelda game. Yeah. Well, the original game. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Game Boy original. But then they helped it out on the
Actually,
DX.
the third Zelda game. It came out after Zelda 2.
And you don't have to play 1 or 2 to understand this story. It's kind of set off in its own. But most Zelda games are like that. But I think 1 and 2 were kind of sequels of each other. Like continuations. And there are some continuations. But beside that point, Link's Awakening, you're set on an island. And my complaint about it is that it doesn't give you very much direction, right? And I understand that gaming was still kind of like on the uptick, and I'm spoiled now with like a marker or a directional arrow a lot of times. Pause.
The guy who hates the owl for holding his hand doesn't like that this game doesn't have direction.
Listen, I need a little bit of hand holding, but I don't overdo it.
So what you're saying is the owl is too extreme on both ends. On one end, it just kicks your ass out of the nest. Sorry guys for saying that word. And on the other hand, it's like, let's go to the store. Like puts you on a leash. So like, see one or the other, and you want in the middle.
Yeah,
right.
Basically.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
My connection to you cut out quite hardcore right there, so I only heard a little bit of it. But I know what you were saying. Anyway. Back to my complaint. The game does not give you very much direction. It says, go east. Or, and you're like, well, that's like half the map, bro.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that strategically placed in each region is a phone booth. And you can literally call the phone booth, and you'll talk to a dude, and he'll tell you what to do. He said, oh, well, you should go do this. Oh, you have this now? You should go do this. And I appreciated that because I used it quite a bit.
I didn't know what that phone was for. Like, I've been ignoring them because the first 2 times I called them, it didn't do anything. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah. So if you ever are kind of like, I went north and I'm in the swamp, but I'm not sure what to do kind of thing, call that phone and he will literally tell you what to do next. So I did utilize that to my advantage. So Color Temple, amazing if you're going to play this game. Get to the Color Temple as soon as you can and beat it because it gives you a power-up that's really helpful throughout the game. Very optional. By the way, how far into this game are you, Corey?
I am just now getting the key to the third dungeon from Richard.
Okay, so you're still early on, because there's 8 temples, and then that lets you into the final temple. And the final temple's really not a temple, not
So,
to ruin it or anything.
at what point, without spoiling, we don't spoil in this game, by the way, guys.
No.
At what point, without spoiling, am I able to get into the colored dungeon?
Ah, shoot, man. What items do you have? That's not a spoiler, because you get a new item each temple, right?
I have a shovel. I have a stick.
The stick's not an item. That's a tradable item. Like,
I
items
have
you
a
can use.
dog whining at my door, and
You have the feather?
yes,
You get that first temple, I'm pretty sure. You have a sword, you have a shield,
I have the bracelet.
you have the first bracelet. There's more than one bracelet.
I'm sure
As
there
in-
is. 'Cause I saw other stuff I can't lift yet. But anyways, yeah.
So, I would say probably after the 5th temple, because you get different items to help you jump better and stuff like that, and there's more weapons that you get. So I think the 5th temple or so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks.
Okay. But overall, I would highly recommend this game to anyone who likes playing Game Boy handheld games. It is dated. You can definitely tell it is. The enemies are very easy to defeat. But overall, it's just a wonderful, fun game with fun characters. And like you said, you can even like almost crash your game if you steal an item from the shop, right?
Yeah, because
Which you did at one point in your life, right?
you won't really
it's-
crash
it's-
it, yeah. But the shopkeeper will get mad and kill you, like one hit you, and then everyone will call you thief after that, like all the NPCs.
Call you thief. That's kind of funny. I also love the crossover on Nintendo here. It's like they give a lot of shout outs to Mario in this game.
Yeah.
And I love that. There's Goombas. There's even Bowser statues later in the game. There's a Chain Chomp. Help me out. Is there anything
Piranha
else you
Plant.
can say? Piranha Plant. Yeah, there's so many fun things. And in some of the dungeons,
A
you'll
Yoshi
go...
doll.
Yoshi doll. Yeah, very early on a Yoshi doll. There's also... I think those things... There's alligators that kind of look like King K. Rool. You know, in a
A
way.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And in the dungeons, there's areas where you can go down, like down or upstairs, usually downstairs, and you become 2D. Like, I know the whole thing's like top down 2D kind of, but you'll go like side
Yeah, it goes
scroll,
side scrolling,
very
yeah.
very Mario style, and you jump on Goombas and you can swipe like.
See,
kill.
I didn't know at first that you could actually jump on them and kill them, so I was hitting with my sword, and then I accidentally fell on one and it smashed it, and I just got this little thought, like, that's so brilliant that they put that there. Like, I'm so glad they let you smack, because you can't beat any other character in the game like that, but the fact that they let you beat a Goomba like that.
Yeah. And I did the same thing. I was swiping. I was like, I wonder if I can fall on it. So I fell on it, and I was like, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, beautiful, beautiful game. I would highly recommend it. And I'm actually going to give a rating on it, if that's okay with you, since I've beaten it and you haven't.
Of course, of course.
Yeah. I would give it an 8.5.
And I would give it that so far, yes.
And it's not like overly like amazing, going to blow your mind, because the story is very almost non-existent, you know. But the mechanics are fun. It gradually gets harder. The dungeons are puzzling. In fact, I had to look up how to beat some of the puzzles, because some of the puzzles are pretty hard. Like, I got stuck on a couple dungeons later on because you have to find a random wall that you can blow up by clinking your sword.
So,
very
I have
interesting
one-
game.
I have one thing I forgot to say, but you refreshed my memory on it. Whenever you said there's no sense of direction, it's something that's kind of funny to me. Like, but if I was like younger and didn't have internet and couldn't look it up, I'd be very angry.
Yes.
The fetch quests, because they don't make sense. So it's like,
They really
hey,
don't.
like the one I just did was first you have to do some stuff to get a can of dog food, and then, oh, what do you know? You have to take the dog food to the alligator to get bananas, and then you have to take the bananas to the monkey. like there's no way to know this, you know?
Yeah.
So
the real deal is you say with the fetch quest, and it's really not like multiple. It's all one quest, which I thought was really cool.
That is cool. Like I have a stick now, so it's going to continue. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. So it's like you get one item. I think the Yoshi doll is actually the first item you get.
Yep.
And you trade it for a can of dog food, and then you're like, I don't know what to do with this dog food. But then you'll find someone else, like the alligator, I think, without spoiling too much more of it. But you keep getting items and items and items until the very end. You get a really good item, a special item, and it's all optional. It's not required, and I won't ruin what that item is because you haven't got it yet.
Wait. What I've done so far isn't optional.
Oh, I guess it's not.
You have to get across that bridge.
You have to get across the bridge, but if I'm not mistaken, that's the only part that plays into the story. But I'm probably wrong, and someone's probably going to be like, "You pleb, you have to do this to get to this," and I'm like, "Oh, sorry, dude." But yeah, that's
so we both give it an 8.5. I haven't beat it yet. It might go up, might go down, but so far.
But no, yeah. It's a nice little handheld game. Puzzles get harder as you go gradually. But the thing that was missing to really escalate it was like a good story. And I understand that capabilities were limited back then. So
yeah, I'm okay with the story just because I see what it's trying to do. It's trying to like just be like a quirky type of thing, and I'm like, it's funny, it's fine.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that they kind of revamp the story a little bit in the remake. Like, make it more in depth. Because but I'm sure that would upset someone like the original fanboys. But, whatevs.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to add about Link's Awakening?
Go play it, everybody. And watch my LP of it when it goes up.
Yeah, there you go. Do you want to talk about The Witness anymore? Or have we kind of covered it?
Yes, I want to talk about The Witness.
Okay, let's talk about The Witness a little bit. What are your thoughts?
For those of you that don't know what The Witness is, because it's not a like a mainstream game. It's not. It's made by the same guy that made Braid. If you've seen Indie Game the movie, the guy that made Braid, Jonathan Below. Are you still there? But okay, sorry, you froze for a second. But basically, The Witness, you're on a huge island. Okay, no story, no dialogue, or anything happens. So you'll just see all these
dialogue.
Well, I mean, like it's not like "Welcome to the island," blah blah blah. Like you don't know, like you don't know what's going on. So
you start in a tunnel, I'm pretty sure.
A tunnel.
Yeah, it's like that tunnel underground, and you have to make your way out.
Yeah, and then so you'll see a lot of closed off areas that you can't open yet, but there's these little screens all over the place with little puzzles on them, and so you figure out the puzzle. It doesn't tell you how to do the puzzle, by the way, but you will find little clues here and there that can help you do the puzzle, whether it be environmental clues or like you unlocked something and it shows you a little pattern that might help you with the puzzle. You do the puzzle, unlock the door, go to the next area. You can it's pretty open world, wouldn't you say?
I would say it is extremely open world.
Yeah. But well, I mean, it's not extremely because I can't go to the other side of the island just right away. I could probably go 3 directions at the first,
Well, yeah, because when you get out of the tunnel, this is not spoiling. You're in a garden, and it's like the tutorial. It's very easy stuff. And then once you get out of the garden, I would say it's open world because you could go to the beach, you could go to the mountain, you could go to the town, but there is kind of a directional path to start with to kind of lead you on the right way.
Yeah, see, the problem, the cool thing is, which is also the problem if you're trying to explore, is each puzzle will, you'll learn the easy puzzle, obviously, at the first, and then that easy puzzle will kind of teach you the beginning stages of the next puzzle, and then once you learn that puzzle, the little piece that you got from that puzzle will help you on the next puzzle. So you kind of need to go in a certain direction, or else you're not going to know what the heck's going on if you go to a random puzzle you've never seen before. And so the puzzles get harder and harder and harder. You just have to keep remembering these pieces you've learned. And I think I've done 80-something puzzles, maybe close to 90. And I'm on a puzzle now that I know how to do it, but what I'm trying to do doesn't work. So I know what it's wanting me to do, but it doesn't work. But
yeah,
anyways.
Exactly. And I got into it really quick because it's super easy to pick up. If you can If you know how to use a controller, you can play it, basically.
Yeah, first person, basically. It is first person, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, you can't see your feet. That's annoying.
You can
But
see your shadow.
you can see your shadow, but no feet. So I got to a part where I got through the garden. I got through like a beach house and a tree house and the trees and this isn't spoiler, it's just an island, so and then I get to after that I'm completely lost and stuck. And I think you got past this part, but I haven't gone back to it since this part because I got frustrated. But I got to a part where you can either go to the beach or go to a town, and I can't figure out any of the puzzles because there's no quote unquote easy puzzles.
It's because you're going to the wrong area there. There's a place between
yeah,
them.
and that's what I figured. That's what I was like. There's got to be some place I'm overlooking.
Yeah, because you shouldn't. Like I've noticed, you shouldn't go to a puzzle that you just have no idea what's going on. Like it should at least have a piece that you've learned before,
And I'm not to that point.
Which I think is brilliant tutorial. Like,
oh my gosh,
no other game I've seen. Like usually just like this is how you do this puzzle, Like this one's like you're like basically learning a language. It seems like.
Absolutely, no hand holding here.
Yeah, it's really cool, but it's really hard. So don't play this hungover because you won't want to think about it. I've tried it.
Speaking from experience,
yeah,
I do wish there was like I could hit the L3 button or something, and it would turn my guy in the right direction. Not really point, but just be like
maybe like a suggested area or something.
Yeah, just turn my camera in the direction I should go.
Yeah,
I wish it would kind of let me do that or something.
It's like you can go anywhere, but maybe suggest this way, probably this way.
Yeah, I wish there was a little suggestions.
Or if it would only help. Well, no, that would ruin the whole game. I was gonna say if it'll only help you with like the first puzzle, and then like you're on your own. But
no, I want to figure out the puzzles. Just show me the right puzzle to go to, kind of a little bit. Like not even like point me like ding ding ding. Just like kind of be like, hey, maybe you want to go northeast instead of north.
By the way, there's over 800 puzzles on this game, but you don't need 800 of them to beat it. I think there's a
lot of hidden puzzles.
Yeah, there's a lot of like side puzzles and stuff. So yeah, there's
over 800. I found one.
You did?
Yeah, I found I don't know if you found it. Have you heard any audio files? There's some audio files hidden. Like after you solve there's a sequence early on where you can kind of explore a little bit, and I open a couple doors, and on the ground there's a little square, and if you click the square, an audio file will play.
I did play a puzzle that was on the ground. Is that what you're talking? In the tunnel?
Nope. No, but it was an audio file, and I also found a statue of a dog. Did you find the dog statue?
I don't think so.
I feel like it should be a trophy. Like I found it, I was like, oh.
You know what's funny though?
What?
I went to the beach, okay, and I'm like wandering around, like I'm pretty sure the environment of the beach, because you look over the edge, you can see kind of dots on the ground, I'm pretty sure that will help with the puzzle, but I still have no idea what's going on. So I start exploring. I go around actually to the water's edge and go around the mountain area, and there's another puzzle way off to the left on the ground. Yeah, so I solved the puzzle on the ground. I don't know how. I just was messing around and got it.
I don't get those puzzles I do not understand them. Like there's no sense to them.
I think it's to help you learn and practice. But the thing is, I did the puzzle and it's like, there, now you know how to do this puzzle. I'm like, I don't even know what I did. I basically did designs until it worked. And now I don't know.
Yeah, but every now I've ran into a couple of those puzzles, and you can complete them pretty easily, but they want you to do a certain pattern, I guess, and then the lights on it will start flashing. And I'm like, I guess that means I finish it?
No, the light flashing means hey, you have to incorporate this dot as well. Like you skipped this dot type of thing.
Yeah, but it's not like a light, it's like an arrow,
Huh?
There's little squares on the ground with arrows. Little directional arrows on them.
Yeah, the arrows are part of the puzzle and the dots are part of the puzzle, and if you don't incorporate say it's you have to box off every dot, and if you leave out a dot,
I know the dot. I know
leave
those
out
dots.
an arrow. Well, I'm saying even with the arrows, if you don't do what it needs you to do, they'll flash, just like the dots.
Oh, well, then I've been doing them wrong.
You're
I
like,
need
oh,
to
I
get back
got
to
it,
like.
Vaughn.
Yeah,
But
the game's fun. Game's very difficult. I do. You could probably solve. You could probably beat the game pretty quickly if you followed a tutorial, but that's not the point of the game.
yeah. I don't know if I'd recommend this game though. I mean, I recommend it to some people, but people who don't like
Not the
puzzles
casual.
don't touch it.
Yeah.
If you are just one of those gamers that's Madden, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Fortnite, don't do it. And also, if you're like probably really young, you probably wouldn't. Maybe, I don't know. Depends how smart you are, I guess. Very steep learning curve. I'll just say that.
hmm Like my wife, who only plays Mario games, will not enjoy this game. She won't enjoy the subtlety of the beautiful island either.
Also, it's you have to look deep to realize how brilliant it is that they're teaching you how to do puzzles through your own brain without telling you anything. Like it's a
Exactly. It's a masterpiece of a game that not everyone will like. And I
yeah,
hate
it won't be appreciated by everyone. It's kind of like a piece of art that like is like I don't even know what the heck. It's just a bunch of blotches, and you're like, no, look at these, look at this stroke work.
yeah, and basically, if you don't like it, we're better than you. Is what we're saying.
Yeah. Exactly. Not even basically. It's like exactly.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
But it's free for March 2019 on PlayStation Plus. I know we're recording this at the end of March, but you could probably get it through April 2nd is usually what happens. So go download it. It's free. It's fun. It's enjoyable.
And we are not LPing this because too much frustration and too much staring at one square. Like that'd be a really boring LP.
You just see my face like,
But yeah, at least look up gameplay on it. Like if you're listening to this and it's not free anymore, look up some gameplay, see if you like it, and buy it.
Yeah, there's definitely release trailers and stuff that don't spoil very much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so I think that kind of covers Link's Awakening and The Witness. Would you
Me
agree?
as well.
Yep. So there are a little bit of gaming news I want to cover before we move on. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah.
Okay. So recently, something major happened in the gaming world that I'm sure everyone listening to this has already researched a little bit, but I want to talk about it. And that is Google getting into the gaming world. Did you watch Google's release press video of their new gaming system, software, whatever you want to classify it, Google Stadia? Corey, did you listen to it?
I didn't watch it, but I watched highlights and I listened to other podcasters discussing it, so I am very up to speed on it.
Up to speed. Okay, so just to kind of give a brief overview of it, from my limited understanding, because I'm going to admit to you right now, I don't understand it. And I think that's okay, because I think Google doesn't want us to understand it yet.
I understand it. So
you understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, from my limited understanding it's a software that you're going to buy. There's no console. It's a software that you're going to buy. And with it, you're going to be able to stream games. You're going to be able to stream any game that they have a license or ability to let you stream. Yeah.
You're partly right. Yes.
So, and what really confuses me is I don't understand how they're going to make money off of it. And my understanding is it's probably going to be a subscription-based service. But at the same time, I just don't understand how this is profitable unless the software is super expensive.
It's not software. It's not software technically. It's going to be web-based.
Yes.
So you will be able to play these games in your browser.
Yes.
On your computer. Chrome. Yeah. They have a bunch of servers on their back end that will do all the hard work for you. So as long as you have at least a 25 megabit per second internet connection, you can play full HD at least. Mm-hmm. But on release, it will go up to 4K, and they left room to go up to 8K.
Yes.
8K, 120 hertz refresh rate. They left enough room to go up to that. So they want you to be able to play your games across all your devices. They want you to be able to be on your laptop playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, pause it, go over to your phone, start playing it, pause it, go over to your tablet, start playing it, like right where you left off.
Yeah, without any rate droppage or interaction droppage.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
they wanted to
And
seamlessly
supposedly
transition.
it does all the back end work for you. Whatever device you're on, it will just detect it and give you the quality that your device can handle. So it's going to be basically for anyone and everyone that has internet connection. And
Yes.
they also have their own controller coming out with it. And
Which looks awesome. I know it's gotten a lot of hate, but I think it looks really cool.
yeah, and the controller has features that make it the go-to for this. So like you could use your own Xbox controller and stuff, but they won't be able to do the features this controller does. This controller will let you screenshot, like share your date, share your stream, I guess.
And I thought that was the most innovative part. I know this is all like super innovative, but I thought that because it's not just a screen share or a screenshot. It's like a moment that you're sharing that other Google Stadia members can go in and experience. You're like, I want to share this 5 minutes of this game, this boss fight. And so when you share it, someone else can be like, oh, I want to play that boss fight. And they can literally go into it and play that boss fight.
Yeah.
And I think that is so brilliant.
Also, another brilliant thing about this controller, say, okay, I'm just going to do a little reenactment here. Oh my gosh, this boss on Odyssey is so freaking hard. Go to your controller, do the whatever feature it has. It'll pull up a YouTube video or a walkthrough or whatever right there on your screen, show you how to do it. You drop it, continue. Like,
Yes.
It doesn't require you to go to a separate tab or anything. It helps you right there. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. It won't be my go-to because it doesn't have trophies, so it's not gonna be my go-to. But if they start releasing
the only reason is there's no trophies.
Yeah, basically.
Trophies. What did they add trophies?
If they added like PlayStation trophies?
No, just Google trophies. Google badges or whatever.
Then it'll move up over Nintendo because right now my hierarchy is if it's on PlayStation, I play it there. If it's not, but it's on Xbox, Nintendo, Steam, I go to Xbox, so I get the achievements. If it's not on there, but it's only on Nintendo and Steam, I go to Steam, so I get achievements. Nintendo is last because they don't have achievements.
Wow. So what if Nintendo, I know this is going off topic a little bit. What if Nintendo truly does what they're hinting they're going to do and everyone's thinking that they're going to do, and they'll connect with Xbox and you can get achievements on Nintendo? Where does Nintendo rank then?
I will still go to Xbox over Nintendo because Xbox has better hardware, but I will be more apt to play Nintendo if I can get Xbox achievements there too. Also because I'd be able to play mobile, and I can't on Xbox, so...
I agree. Okay. Back to Stadia. Back to the controller.
Yeah, so Stadia, it's even the word is like has to do with stadium, because I forgot they want to fill the stadium, I think is what they said, or something like that.
The at the actual release, like on the videos, if you would have watched it and been a true game lover.
I'm always at work when this happens.
No, I'm just kidding. The announcement video was like they're showing like old time like caveman style stadium battles moving up, and it was always revolving around a stadium, like basically catering to like crowd service. I think is really the push, for the masses, which I think it's a cool name. I've heard some people hate on the name, but my favorite part of the controller you haven't even listed. You haven't even named. Have you seen a picture of the controller?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Did you see the back of the controller?
I didn't see the back, no.
On the back, there is a special code. A very famous code for all video.
Konami code?
They have the Konami code on the back of the controller.
Why?
I don't know, but I saw it like they do a quick like half turn, and I was like, "Oh, this is a Konami code!" Ah! It's so freaking cool. Like I don't know why it's there, but it's a nice homage to video gaming.
Did you say homage?
Homage.
Oh, okay. Oh, they do have it back there.
Isn't that really cool? Like I don't know why
by Google.
Yeah.
I do like the controller.
Cool. Yeah, I think the controller's cool. I've heard a lot of people hate on it, but I think it's kind of cool, slick looking.
For those
But
of you that haven't seen the controller, it looks kind of like the Pro controller for the Switch, like shape wise.
Mhm.
But I think the Switch. Let me look at my.
I think it's more. I think it's
But it's
style.
symmetrical.
Yeah, it's symmetrical. I think it looks like a PlayStation 4 controller, honestly.
Well, I
Like
mean, like the
just
shape of it,
more
like how it's kind of
box
like,
type. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I get what you're saying. But I mean, it's two joysticks down below with a directional pad and four buttons.
yeah. Think button layout of the PS4 controller, but shape of the Switch Pro controller.
Yeah, and I like it, but my biggest issue is I don't like. I understand that it's like a like it's the controller the main purchase because it's like Bluetooth connected and like it'll connect to any smart TV or screen basically as long as Bluetooth is like has the ability. So I think the controllers are going to be super expensive.
Uh, if I don't think they're going to be that expensive, only because okay, so either the controller or the subscription have to be cheap. One or the other has to be cheap.
The
Which
subscription is going to be probably cheap. It'll probably be like $15 a month, like Netflix style. I think.
yeah, if they're smart, they'll go the $10 a month route and at least compete with Xbox
Yeah,
for
because
Game
Xbox
Pass.
Live. Oh, the Game
But
Pass.
but yeah, I think the controller is going to be at least I want to say like $80.
I think it's going to be more than 100. I think it's
Really?
going to. I think it's going to be expensive, dude. Because I think
It's
that's where they're going to make their money. Like, but also like I don't think it's just going to be a subscription base because there's no way like they're going to get Ubisoft because Ubisoft's the main guy that they're competing with. This big AAA title game that sells for 60, $80 brand new at launch. There's no way they're going to get away with allowing people to play that for $10.
okay. So I'm just brainstorming here. I'm thinking maybe then controller is 80, $90, but then you still have to buy full price Stadia edition of the game. Is that what you're?
Yes, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, there's gonna be obviously there'll be games because the way they design these games, develop even at the conference, they had developers go up saying they're gonna create games specifically for the Stadia because of the shareability of it.
I
Like,
will play
so
Stadia exclusives, and I'm excited for that. Really.
yes, and I think it allows with the share state. I think it allows so much potential for video games to take another leap. And but moving forward, I don't think it's going to overtake consoles like they kind of project it will be. My opinion. What about you?
Um, I think we will eventually go away from physical media and into the streaming. I think streaming games is going to be the next thing, like the next step, because Game Pass is super successful right now. PS Now would be if they get their crap together and didn't lag all the time. And
Sony does their own thing. They don't care.
yeah. Well, the problem with Sony is like you can't download the games for offline play like you can with Game Pass.
Yeah, that's true. But I think my opinion is that I think Sony has seen an upsurge, kind of like because when Xbox announced this and everyone's like, "Oh, I guess this is what we're doing now." Sony was like, "Nah, bro, we're not doing that. We're sticking to physicals and we're sticking to exclusives." And they've seen such a surge in those, and that might just be me, but it might just be the collector in me that likes the physical editions. I do think streaming will be a part of the future, but I don't think it will overtake it as soon as some people are predicting.
Oh, it's not going to be soon by any means.
You
But
think 10 years? 10 years will be
probably
streaming
no,
main? 20 years?
no, because
More
okay, in
close to
10
40
years
or
we're still
50?
going to be on next gen probably, or
PS5,
close to
Xbox,
it, yeah.
Scarlet, whatever it
Which is
is.
still going to be primarily physical media, even though Xbox is going to have an edition of their system that's only, streaming, not streaming, but digital.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of like now you could probably buy just about any game digital if you wanted to. Like I think on PlayStation Network they allow you to buy most games digital if you want it.
Yeah, by the way, did you hear the new rule that's put out there?
The
GameStop,
games.
Yeah,
the
no
digital
longer
access
has
code,
digital codes. No retailers have digital codes anymore.
which I'm all for. Like why do you need digital codes when you could just go on the console or the internet and get it from
On the
direct?
flip
Yeah.
side of that, GameStop makes more money when they're selling their used items. So why would they want to sell digital codes that can't be returned? You
Yep.
know.
Yep. I completely understand the mindset. It's one of those where I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
And did you hear GameStop's new thing they're trying to do in the future with the new CEO?
They'll have GameStop exclusives, right?
No, they're going to
That
have
we're talking about.
GameStop experiences where they set up gaming stations and you go there and play games like before you
So
buy them.
make it like an arcade. They already have
Yes.
kiosks, but they're like demos, I guess.
But I think they're going to have some way to like, I want to buy this game. I need to try it first. And you
I
try
get
it
what you're
there
saying.
somehow. Like, yeah.
Well, that'd be cool, but I probably won't do it.
Which I just think this is in yeah, I just think that this is in direct direct rebuttal for the digital stuff. Like they have to do something or else they're going to go out of business. Like they have
Yeah,
to
it makes sense.
do something to counteract the digital
I just
market.
I just don't see digital. I mean, overtaking physical. Like in I don't want to say in my lifetime because I'm still young and hopefully, Lord willing, I live a long life. But like, I just feel like there's too many collectors out there that like having a digital copy of a physical copy of the game. But
Yeah,
I am excited beyond measure for Stadia. Don't get me wrong, and the possibilities, because I think it adds a huge amount, especially for YouTube and content creators. I think it kind of opens up an avenue for like taking away from them, but I also think it opens up more avenues for the potential for creation.
oh yeah, did you see there's instant
Yes.
jumping into games with
Yes.
people?
Yes. You could be like, this game looks fun. Play now. Play now. And I don't
mean,
think
like,
that's
say
going
you're
to be the
streaming it on
full game.
Twitch.
Yes.
And you're like, hey, viewer, want to play with me? Yeah, boop, you're in. Like,
Yeah. And I love that idea. The way he was describing it is right now we could share videos where in links, like I could send you a funny video of a cat jumping on a dog and the dog freaking out or whatever, right? I could send that to you. You can pull it up on your phone perfectly, and that's what the dude was explaining. He was explaining, he's like, why shouldn't we be able to do that with gaming? Like, check out this 5 minutes of this boss fight. I know I keep saying boss fights because they're usually the most climatic part of a game. But check out this 5 minute boss fight that I just beat. And I send it to you, and you can play that boss with
yeah,
all of my items, all of my stats.
you're like, dude, I just beat it in like 2 seconds. Why can't you beat this?
Yeah. Or like, if you get stuck, I think it'd be like, bro, I can't beat this boss. See if you can beat it. Tell me how you did it. Boom.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Really, really cool.
Before we move on from Stadia, I just want to say one little point that I thought of. So, I think the reason we're not going on to full digital as fast as a lot of people think we're going to is because no company wants to be the first one to do it. Because if it fails, everyone's jumping ship. They're going to the other one.
Yes.
Which is. Go ahead, continue.
Sorry. No, sorry. I'm not trying to interrupt.
Well, I was just saying, which is the reason Xbox is putting out 2 separate systems next generation. They're just dipping their toe into it. If that digital-only one outsells the physical, you know you're onto something. If that digital-only one does really well, you know you're onto something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But people won't jump ship because they can still get their physical on the other one if they want to.
I can see that. And I think Xbox is being extremely soft. I think Microsoft is being extremely smart by doing toe dipping, because they're doing toe dipping not just in that, but like with the Nintendo Switch, partnering with Nintendo supposedly, and we're gonna get Xbox Live games on there, like, because that's just gonna increase their sales. That's just gonna increase their profits. But I also think both of those are extreme. This is just my theory. I think both of those are extreme. Yeah, my hypothesis. Yeah. You're right. That's the better word. Hypothesis is that they're both kind of extremely time-consuming, wealth-consuming, like, experiments, you know? And they could lose money on this. They could lose consumers. And my hypothesis is that Sony sees that. And I think Sony's not going to do that. I think Sony's whenever we do get the next generation announced, Sony's going to be like, oh, you guys are doing that? Well, we're going to do the same thing we've always done. Here's Gen 5, just like we've always done it. Yep. Better quality. And I think, like, I understand sticking to your path and not being adventurous could be harmful, but I think in this case, Sony's going to see it.
It won Sony this generation.
Yes.
It did, because Xbox dove right into the new stuff right off the bat, and everyone's like, nope. And Sony was like, want to see how you share games with us? And hand a game to their friend. Remember that?
Yeah. And it's great. And I just think it's going to be beneficial for PlayStation fans around the globe.
I do think all systems are going to go to cartridge-based, though.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because the cartridges hold a lot more memory than...
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people complain that putting a full, beautiful masterpiece of a game onto a Blu-ray disc is very difficult. So I could see cartridge-based gaming. I don't know if we'll go straight to it, PS5, Xbox Scarlet, but I think there will be some testing with it, maybe.
Also, if you think about it, which do you think is going to stand the test of time better, those cartridges or discs?
I think cartridges.
Yeah, so I think...
bulky, they're strong. I think they're harder to break. Plus, they taste gross.
Yeah, so I think I'd rather see us go cartridge than go digital.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Plus, I love the Switch game cases, because when you open them, the cartridge only takes up a little piece, and you can see a whole nother art style on the inside of the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like that.
Last question on Stadia. 20 years from now, rank the 4 video game industries from best to worst, being PlayStation, I'm not listing them in order, but just PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and Stadia. 20 years from now, what is the rank?
I do think Xbox will take back the crown eventually.
Okay.
And I guess I'll put Xbox number 1, because I really think they learned from this generation. This generation really, punched them in the gut.
Yep.
Because they tried to. So they're going to be innovative, but they're going to do it with toe dipping from now on. So
20 years from now, Xbox One.
Yeah, and I still think PlayStation. And then Nintendo, and then Stadia, because I don't know how people's internet's going to be 20 years from now. I think a lot of people are going to sway away from Stadia just because they don't feel they have the necessary internet. Also, the typical, normal, everyday person doesn't understand this technology.
Yep.
So, I mean, they didn't even know. No offense, they didn't even know a Wii U was a new system. Like, so what are they going to get from Stadia?
I mean, that was Nintendo's fault for making it such a. Yeah.
I see Stadia being to video games as YouTube is to TV and movies.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it's going to be successful because Google is back. It's Google's baby, and Google
and Microsoft has unlimited funds is the thing. Yeah. Like, even if they do fail, they're fine. So they're going to try what, I don't know,
Video games is not their main baby.
Yeah.
So 20 years from now, you got Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Stadia in that order?
Yes. Stadia might take over Nintendo, but I just feel like Nintendo's exclusives are still just bangers. So, like, it's going to hold them
bangers. And, okay, so I'm pretty similar to you. Being a PlayStation fanboy, you can call it as you see it. I've always just played PlayStation. I hate to say it, but I think 20 years from now, with Xbox's kind of partnering with Nintendo,
I was about to bring that up. I think those two are going to make some splash, man.
I think that's really going to help Xbox take PlayStation's number 1 spot, undisputed number 1 spot, I would say right now.
What if Nintendo starts letting Microsoft have their stuff too?
If that happens, like, I don't see it happening because there's so many people that like Nintendo games out there, and Nintendo does something the other two don't, and it caters to younger gamers more. In my opinion, it's more for like less hardcore gamers, I think. And with it being mobile and the main console, I think that opens up a huge possibility. But 20 years from now, I'm on this exact same boat. I think Xbox takes the number 1 spot, PlayStation close behind it, but I think Xbox will kind of overtake it, Nintendo, and then Stadia. I'm too unsure about Stadia, and I think Stadia could be anywhere along those lines. I think Stadia is the X factor.
Yeah, I don't think Stadia dies off though. I think
No,
we're
I think it's
witnessing
here to
something
stay.
that's gonna like you're witnessing something that's gonna be around for a while, I think.
I agree. Okay, so I know that was a lot longer than we anticipated. A couple more gaming news we just want to hit on real quick. Borderlands 3 was announced this week. How excited are you for this game? That's very excited on the Corey excitement scale. It goes whoop whoop to whoop whoop, and that was a whoop whoop. So
Yep.
just let you know.
Upper scale.
So Borderlands 3 continuation of the game. Gearbox has been teasing it for a while now. So excited. We got like a long freaking video of it, like 10 minutes or whatever. So I'm excited for it. I was kind of anticipating it was going to be a launch title game for the next generation, but it looks like it's going to come out this generation. So kind of got an idea of the 4 new heroes, showed a lot of old characters, recurring characters. I'm very excited. I love the Borderlands games because they're huge loot. They epitomize of what a loot and shoot type game should be. And over 1 billion guns. Literally, they say in the trailer, 1 billion guns.
Yeah, with all the customization.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be great. Super fun. Excited about it. You going to get it release date?
That depends on who I'm playing. If I like say you get it, or like you're like, I'm getting it, we're gonna play it, or Junior's like, I'm getting it, we're gonna play it, then I'll be like, all right, I'll get it. But if it's just like, are you getting it? I don't know. Then I'm be like, well, I'm not gonna get it then, 'cause I'm not gonna play it alone.
Yeah, it's definitely. I played through the first one alone because you and Junior played it before I had it, and it was fun. But playing through Borderlands 2 was a lot of fun too. I just love the characters. I'm excited for it. The humor, the writing, the art style, brilliant. I'm excited for it.
I just want to throw in here real quick that along with Borderlands 3 announcement, they announced the remastered Borderlands 1 for PS4, Xbox, and PC. And also they're adding free 4K texture packs to the pre-sequel in Borderlands 2, and those arrive this Wednesday, April 3rd.
Wow. The Borderlands 1 remaster comes out Wednesday?
No, the texture packs.
Oh, I was like, dang, I missed that. Oh, okay, well, that's cool. That's cool.
2 in the pre-sequel, we're getting Ultra HD texture packs. It's a free download. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, it'll look beautiful in 4K HD. So, anyway, that and the last gaming news I kind of want to talk about is some Zelda news. We got a PlayStation Nintendo Direct style announcement video.
What's it called again?
State of Play.
State of Play.
Yeah, but it's a rip-off of Nintendo Direct. Let's just be honest.
Which they're all going to start doing it.
Yeah, because it's brilliant. I love it. But they announced a bunch of like mediocre games, a lot of VR games that I'm not really interested in personally. Did you watch all those State of Play?
I didn't watch all of it, but I just saw all the games announced. If you're a fan of VR, like you probably love it.
Yes. Yeah, if you're a VR fan, go play it. Like, because it announced a VR edition for No Man's Sky. I think that
Everybody's Golf.
Everybody's Golf, Iron Man. There is a art style game that looks pretty good. I can't remember what it's called, but you like create art style. But they announced it's going to be in VR as well. But the main game that they announced was the very last game, Cadence of Hyrule. And me and Corey being Zelda fans.
That's going to be on PlayStation?
No. Is it? I thought it was going to... No, it's on Switch. Why did I go down to PlayStation State of Play style? I don't know. I don't know I'm having a stroke over here.
Okay, well, yeah, State of Play.
Okay, State of Play happened. It was okay. It was mediocre. Blah, blah, blah. Zelda news. Cadence of Hyrule was announced.
You confused me. I was like, wait, I get trophies?
I was like, yeah, it's going to be on PlayStation. Isn't that what we talked about? And I was like, wait, no, it's not. What am I thinking? So, tell them about Cadence of Hyrule, Corey.
Okay, Cadence of Hyrule. If you guys have ever heard of the game Crypt of the Necrodancer, which, according to this, is a roguelike rhythm video game developed and published by Canadian independent game studio Brace Yourself Games, takes the fundamental elements of a roguelike dungeon exploration game and adds a beat-matching rhythm game set to the original soundtrack, blah, blah, blah. But they're gonna cross over the Necrodancer games with Zelda, so you get to play as Link and Zelda, I'm assuming, unless they're just side characters.
No, I think on the video, like the gameplay, they showed you actually playing as them.
Now, I normally wouldn't be excited at all if it was a rhythm type game, with it, just in general rhythm game, because I'm not really into those. But getting to do that to Zelda music, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna jam out on this thing, man.
I think I'm more excited by the fact that Nintendo's allowing an indie developer to use their license.
Now, Greg, let me quiz you. Is this the first time this has happened?
I'm gonna go with no.
Do you know when the last time this happened was?
Can I have a hint? Can I have a hint, Bob?
2017. Maybe
2017.
I think
Nintendo allowed another developer, like an independent developer, to use their license for a game.
Not an independent developer, but a third-party developer.
A third-party developer to use their game. Oh, was it Hyrule Warriors?
No, but that might actually be one too. So that's why
Saga!
I'm talking about when they teamed up with Ubisoft. Okay. It stands for Ubiquitous Software.
Rabbits?
So it's Ubisoft.
Talking about Raging Rabbits.
Yes, Mario Rabbids.
Yeah.
No battle.
Yeah.
That was also a team up like this. So I'm not surprised, and I think it's going to keep happening.
I'm excited for it because a lot of people are real stingy about their main titles, their exclusive licensed titles. So I'm glad that they're allowing other people to use them, and it just shows me that Nintendo trusts these people.
They trust them with one little asterisk. Do you know what that is, Greg?
What's that asterisk?
The one rule that they gave Ubisoft about Mario plus Rabbids was Mario cannot jump in this game. They don't want you to take their characters and then do anything that character normally does. Hence why this is a rhythm-based dungeon crawler and not an action RPG with Link in it. So, like, you can use their characters, but you cannot let their characters do what their characters normally do.
So you can just make them in their like.
Yeah, if you... Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make a first-person shooter with Samus, but she can't turn into a ball, and she can't... she can't shoot lasers out of her arm, but you can give her a machine gun if you want. Like,
you can give her a machine gun and give us a 20% royalty on all your sales.
Yeah, like, so it's just funny, like, Mario can't jump, and I know they did that exact same thing here. Like, Link can't... Yeah, that makes what?
He's not going to go, ha! Ha! He probably will. Yeah. But I'm excited about it. I'm gonna get it. You're gonna get it. I'm sure you're gonna get.
I'm probably gonna get 2 copies.
You're gonna get a copy sealed, a copy from Japan, a copy from Canada, a copy from Mexico, and a U.S. copy. 2 U.S. copies. And if there's a special edition, I will get that. If there's a player's choice, I will get that. If there's a refurbished, I might get that. I doubt there'll be a player's choice since it's an independent party.
I'm excited for Switch to start doing player's choices because I'm going to have to rebuy Breath of the Wild for a 6th time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But anyway, another Zelda news is that the company that made... Hold on, let me pull this up because I have it. The company that worked on the Xenoblade Chronicles, Monolith Soft, who was directly working with Nintendo on Zelda Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, and has expertise in creating vast open worlds that players can explore, has officially announced a recruiting campaign in Japan for the next for a Zelda entry. It's not like the next Zelda game or anything. It doesn't go into much details. But they're looking for people that can help create new experiences and emotions, quote unquote, for players. Does this excite you?
Yes, I didn't know Monolith helped work on Breath of the Wild, but I can definitely see it.
Yes, Monolith had a huge hand in Breath of the Wild or something, and Skyward Sword. So, do you think this is going to be the sequel to Breath of the Wild or another game entirely?
I can kind of see a sequel because if they do another game entirely, I think they're going to shoot themselves in the foot a little bit because Breath of the Wild was so huge and such a step up that if you do another game and it's not like on par with that, people are going to get mad. If you do a sequel, then you only have to get on par with it. Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's going to be a sequel of some sort. Maybe not like a direct sequel because I don't think there's very many of. I know that like Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass are kind of Spirit Tracks and all that are kind of tied together. So I'm guessing it's going to be loosely tied together. I think it'll probably be in a very similar open world atmosphere and similar, like have elements of the same story.
Yeah,
I guess.
Looking back, every time they were innovative with a Zelda, it got a sequel. If you think about it.
Yeah, like Wind Waker.
Wind Waker got a sequel. Link to the Past has a sequel. Ocarina of Time has a sequel.
Yeah. I would say Skyward Sword was innovative, but they didn't really give a sequel to that.
Yeah, because I think they didn't give a sequel to that because it's supposed to be like game one, you know? It's like the first game.
Yeah, and everything else. Anyway, without getting into
first two games have a sequel as well.
Yep, that's true. And then Link's Awakening is loosely tied to those two. But they're also like starting the franchise, so
anyway. So I think it's gonna be a sequel.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think that kind of covers our gaming news. You want to move on to our next section?
Yes, I do, sir.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Moving on. And here we are in section 2 of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Continued. This is the section we like to call very innovative name. Wait for it. The mailbox.
Mailbox.
Yeah, it's basically when we take all our write-ups, all our questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, dares, truth or dare, anything you want to write into the podcast. We have several different ways to do it, but however you get it to us, we talk about it, give you a shout out, talk to you about it, and give our responses to it. Corey, what are some ways people can contact us and get on the podcast?
You can email us at rescapepodcast@gmail.com, right? Is that our podcast email?
rescapepodcast@gmail.com.
Okay. It's been like almost a month since our last episode, so I had to think. Also, you can just comment on the on Podbean. You can leave comments, and we'll get that in an email.
All major podcast services. It's not just Podbean.
Yeah, I just don't know if the other ones have comments. Do they?
I don't know.
If they have comments, leave them. We'll get them. Either way. Also, Gaming Central on Facebook. It is a game group that I created a few years ago. We are almost 2,000 strong in there now. Lots of fun discussions. Join there, and I will post questions weekly for you to answer and get a shout out and get your answers read on the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Also,
YouTube videos. Yes, I post these on my YouTube channel. So does Greg. Leave any questions or anything you want on those YouTube videos as well, and we will get to them.
So, with all that being said, the last episode we did, we talked about our personal overrated games. And it's basically games we see, either the series, the franchise, or the individual game itself. We think it gets too much love, too much hype, too much recognition for whatever reason. And if you are curious about those, check out the last episode.
2 episodes ago.
2 episodes ago. We went over characters last episode. Right. Yeah. So 2 episodes ago. But it's up on YouTube, up on all major podcast services around the globe. And be sure to give us a like, comment, subscribe, give us 5-star ratings.
Feel free to give us any top 10s or top 5s out of any of the lists we've done, by the way, no matter how old they are, and we'll still go over them. So.
Absolutely. Anything we've ever covered on the podcast, any video game related content, any personal related content you want to know about us, we'll try and answer them as honestly as possible without incriminating ourselves.
Yes.
So, on Gaming Central, the Facebook group that we're both a part of, that Corey is the godfather of, we asked people for their top 5 overrated games, and several people wrote in. And Corey, do you want to start us off?
Yes, I will.
With some response?
Nawaf Al-Ajmi. I'm really sorry if I said your name wrong. His YouTube channel is the Nawaf258. That's NAWAF. He
Go
said
check them out.
yeah. He said his top 5 overrated games are Black Ops 4, Fortnite, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Overwatch, and Mario Odyssey. What do you think about this top 5, Greg?
I can understand Black Ops 4. It got a lot of hype. I can definitely understand Fortnite. Overwatch, I can understand too because it's like a 10-year-old game that is still super popular. Odyssey, I'm currently playing through like kind of with my wife, so I don't want to
I
give
didn't
any.
know that.
Oh yeah, sorry, I did mention that earlier in the podcast. Danielle started it, and I'm kind of with her on it, but I haven't like really dived into it, so I don't want to give any um passing on that because I haven't really experienced it. My main issue with this list is Dragon Ball Xenoverse because that is a brilliant, brilliant game that if you like any sort of fighting game, and I'm not a huge fighting game fan, we've covered this before, but I'm a huge Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT fan. And this is the best Dragon Ball game I've played since Budokai Tenkaichi 3 on the PlayStation 2. And the fact that he thinks it's overrated kind of upsets me because you get to create your own character. The first time ever you get to create your own character, and it could be all these different races. It could be Earthling, it could be a Saiyan, it could be a Buu, it could be a Frieza, it could be a Namekian, and you get to explore, go through the entire Dragon Ball series from like old school back in the day of Dragon Ball all the way through Dragon Ball Super. And you get to explore it all, learn all the techniques you want, equip any sort of items you want, and it's just a really cool concept that I was very impressed with, and I played the heck out of this game. Put probably 50, 60 hours into this game because I liked it so much.
You make me want the game now because I've never played it.
It's super fun. Like, it would be spoilers for you because you haven't experienced the thing.
I am currently watching Dragon Ball, by the way. I picked it back up, so.
Well, it's only been 5 years, and it's only been out for 30 years, so, I mean, you're only a little bit behind.
Leave it to Greg to be the jerk.
It's just, you got to get through it. Dragon Ball Z is phenomenal, and a lot of people hate on GT and Super, but I like them a lot.
I just want to throw this out there,
fun.
though. Dragon Ball Xenoverse being a licensed game, I feel like with licensed games, if you're not into the licensing they're using, you probably won't like the game. Like, if he's not into Dragon Ball, then he probably wouldn't like, I feel like if you're a Dragon Ball fan, there's no way you don't like Xenoverse. Like, it's what it seems like. I've never played it, but
well, and there's a lot of games that are based off of animes out there, and a lot of them aren't very good. But the Dragon Ball games come out every 2 years or so, a year or two, and they're almost always the same game. You just go through the story and fight as all the characters. But Xenoverse is the first time that you can create your own character, choose which race you are, and depending on what race you are, you get to choose. You get certain power-ups, certain abilities, certain designs, and it's just a beautiful game that is just so much fun. And something that's really cool, as you progress through the game, you can choose. You get the option for different masters, quote unquote, like different people to train you, and to progress through their training and learn their ultimate attack. So it's really fun. And so of course,
does this game have RPG elements?
Yes, very much so. It's very much RPG, and you're in this like little. It's kind of Destiny-like in the sense that you are in this like world that's like a home world, and then you can go into story elements from the game and play through the story elements. But
Could
you get to
play through this together.
I do believe it is 2-player co-op eligible. But Xenoverse 2 came out, and it's basically an upgrade over everything.
So you don't need to play Xenoverse 1 and then 2?
I think there's a storyline outside the Dragon Ball storyline just for Xenoverse that I think you'll have to play Xenoverse 2 to kind of understand. But they're very fun games.
Okay, yeah, because there's a Xenoverse 1 and 2 double pack on PS4.
Yep.
Look at that. So yeah, I'm probably going to get this game now. Sorry that it's on your overrated list, but the only game on this... Okay, I played Black Ops 4 and Fortnite, But I'm not gonna hate on somebody for thinking a multiplayer game's overrated because those are very subjective, and I can see how they'd be overrated. You know what I mean? I also think Fortnite's slightly overrated, but I also played a ton of it, so I can't really say that. Mario Odyssey, I have beaten, and I wouldn't say it's overrated. I'd say if you like 3D Mario games, this is the creme de la creme of 3D Mario games. So like, if you're not
better
into
than
that,
64?
yes, but it's hard for me to say that because I have such nostalgia for Mario 64. Mario 64 is one of my favorite games of all time, but if you like Mario 64, you will like Odyssey. Easy, like plain and simple.
Is it better than Galaxy?
Yes, because Galaxy has motion controls. If Galaxy didn't have motion controls, it'd be different. I do love Galaxy too, though. Galaxy also, I should say.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense because Galaxy kind of came out around the same time Skyward Sword, and they're really pushing the motion controls. It's kind of like early versions of the PlayStation 3, like PlayStation 3 early games. They're really trying to get you to use motion controls and the controller.
Yeah, 6 axis.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, well, thanks for writing in. All right, next is Cassie Knight. She also has a YouTube channel. She didn't put the link, but I know she's on YouTube.
CJ Knight 87.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out to Cassie. Cassie wrote in with her overrated game: Witcher 3, Monster Hunter Worlds, Red Dead Redemption 2, Kingdom Hearts, and Breath of the Wild. She put a little caveat on Breath of the Wild. She said, it's good, yeah, but I feel like something is missing. So, Corey, I'll let you go first on this list.
Missing, Cassie.
I will let you go in on this list first.
Kingdom Hearts, I can see it. I mean, I love Kingdom Hearts, but it does get... Whenever Kingdom Hearts was first around, like the first 2 of them, 2.5 of them, it wasn't that huge, I don't think. And then when all these sequels started coming out, is when people were kind of like, oh my god, Kingdom Hearts, leave it alone, But, so I think Kingdom Hearts went from kind of underrated to now overrated, which happens a lot with games. But Breath of the Wild, it did get a lot of hype, but I'm one of the hypers. Like, guys, you're going to hate me if you don't like this game or if you don't like Zelda, but I think Breath of the Wild is the single best game ever made. In existence.
Ever?
The greatest game ever made is Breath of the Wild, in my opinion. Now, don't go into that like, oh, Corey's a piece of shit. Like, don't go into that. Don't go play it and then think that if you don't think that. But it's just my opinion. But it is very hyped by me, so I guess if you don't like it as much as I'm saying, it would be considered overrated. Even if you gave this game a 9 and I gave it a 10, you'd think I'm overrating it. So,
the greatest game ever made, huh?
Yes, I was thinking that the entire time I was playing it, yes.
Do you think that might be because you're a Zelda fanboy?
I'm sure me being a Zelda fanboy has a lot to do with it. But the thing about Zelda with me is simply being in the world. Like, this is going to sound very corny, like extremely corny, and it's okay. Just being in the world makes me happy. I could be in a Zelda world with some Zelda music playing, a Zelda enemy run by, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, nothing's going on.
Now, I know you're kind of emotionally attached to that game too, and I'm sure that has some aspect of it.
My dog passed away the day this game came out, and I had her 13 years. I used this game to take my mind off of her, which you might think that would bring negative feelings with it, but it was actually more like a good coping mechanism, I'd say. I had a horse named Minnie in that game, all black horse, just like my dog. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so I think that probably influences a little too. But I'm not taking away that it's probably a really good game. I haven't played it yet. Don't hate me. My issue with this list is that she does not specify on the Kingdom Hearts if it's the series or the game. Because if it's series, I understand. If it's
I know she has never... Kingdom Hearts 1's the only one she's played, and she hasn't beaten it yet. She's starting this...
I completely throw out your opinion then, Cassie. I'm sorry to report this, but you have so much emotions and experiences to go through before you could say this series is overrated, because it's quite possibly my favorite series ever.
I love it. It's definitely in my top 5, probably.
So Witcher 3, I've never played, but the reason I haven't played is because it got too hyped, so I understand that. Monster Hunter Worlds, I've never played a Monster Hunter game except for like the very first one when I was a kid. And I mean, they were fun, and I'd probably enjoy them, so I don't have anything wrong with that. Red Dead Redemption 2, I could see it. You know, I haven't played it, but I hear it's amazing. I haven't played a lot of these games. Okay, moving on. Moving on to Shane. You want to read Shane's comment?
Shane Lune. I hope I said your last name right, Shane. I don't think you listen
Lune.
to this, so if I wanted to, I could say Looney. You wouldn't know. I'm just kidding. He is Shano Gamezo or Shano Games on YouTube. I forgot which one.
He's also on Twitch.
Yeah. He says Fortnite, which I can see that. Pokemon, mostly due to it being the same game over and over again. Greg and I have actually discussed this before, how it's not the same game over and over again.
It's the same concepts.
Same formula.
Yeah.
Different ingredients.
So I'm pretty upset by that, too. We'll get into it in a second.
Five Nights at Freddy's. I have never played that game before, but that game does get a lot of hype, I will say. Call of Duty / Battlefield. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Undertale, I think I agree with this one. I platinumed Undertale, and I really think I agree with it.
Overrated, huh?
I think so, because when Undertale came out, everyone was like, holy crap, this is like the best indie game ever made. It's like an RPG, it's very cutesy, but it has funny dialogue, and like you don't even have to fight anybody. That's so innovative, you don't have to fight anybody. I think maybe the not fighting anybody ruined this game for me, because I had to do that for the platinum, and it made this game like 3 times as hard.
Really? I would think it'd make it easier.
No, because whenever you go into a battle on Undertale, it'll be like, I'm gonna beat you, and then like you have attack, and then you have like random stuff like tickle, and then something else random like call him a name, like, and then you're like, I don't know, tickle, and then like tickling him like, I'm allergic to tickles, and he dies, and you're like, what the hell? Like, I'm trying not to kill you, and then you have to like reload, and you're like, call him a name, and he's like, hey, don't call me a name, and you get in an argument with him, and then all of a sudden you have to like, it's almost like a puzzle. You have to like pick the right thing for him to leave you alone.
Is it completely text based?
What do you like? There's no cutscenes, you mean?
Like, is it a text based adventure game?
No, it's not text based. You walk around like like Earthbound or something. Yeah. Like run into an enemy, he pops up on the screen like an RPG, but then like you go through the motions like that.
Oh, okay.
Which is very innovative. I did enjoy it. It just made it really hard and really frustrating.
I got you.
Because if you don't pick the right thing, you have to reset. I'd say it's not as good as, it's not the greatest indie game ever made, in my opinion.
What is the greatest indie game ever made, in your opinion?
Firewatch. No. Costume Quest.
Firewatch?
Costume Quest and then Firewatch.
Firewatch was good, but I wouldn't say it's the greatest.
Firewatch just called back to me personally, which games do that with people,
Yeah, you like walking through the woods and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it reminds me of childhood. It was fun.
I thought Firewatch left me on the edge of my seat. I thought I was going to get scared the entire time. I thought something was going to jump out.
It was scary.
It was like scary because it wasn't scary.
It was
so I was like, yeah, anyway. I agree with a lot of his lists. Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah, it's overrated. It's just a bunch of jump scares. Fortnite, yeah, we talked about that. Call of Duty Battlefield, yeah. Undertale, I haven't played. I know it's a game that's like, it's one of those games that everyone's like,
I do recommend Undertale.
You have to play it. And I'm like, I need to play it someday. I'm just super busy and it's not high on my list. But Pokemon, Shane, Pokemon is not overrated. And I'm really upset that you said that. I don't want to get into it because I could talk for a long time on Pokemon, but Pokemon is not overrated.
Yes, I agree.
So, moving on to our buddy Nathan Levi. And Nathan's on YouTube. What's his YouTube name, Corey?
Spooky Shit, and shit is spelled SH !T. He does ghost hunting videos and stuff.
So there you go. There's Nathan. Nathan's actually quite a regular contributor. So shout out to Nathan. Go check him out. Nathan says Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Pokemon Go. Now, we've talked about Grand Theft Auto on ours because we both think the series is kind of overrated too. Fortnite, Red Dead, we've already talked about. Pokemon Go, though, Nathan, is where I have an issue. Now, I'm not a huge Pokemon Go fan myself, but I have a hard time saying a mobile free game that literally took over the world for like a week straight. Like everyone, young and old, was playing this game in my town. Like literally everyone.
Just drive down the street and see people looking at their phones.
Yeah, literally everyone was playing this game. So I have a hard time saying, like, it died off really quick. Don't get me wrong.
It didn't die off. Are you serious?
No. Like
if you're going from like 2 billion people playing it to 1 billion people playing it, we can say it died off, I guess. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's still got a huge following and a lot of people play it, but I'm talking about like the overwhelming, encapsulating sweep. Like my wife's sister, who has never seen a Pikachu before in her life, was like, "Let's play Pokemon Go. I got a rat-tat-tat-tat-tat." And I'm like,
I feel you.
Yeah, so like I think that motion died really quick, but it was such a fun game. And I could see why people still love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I've never played Red Dead Redemption 2, but I know Red Dead 2, despite getting really high ratings from reviewers, a lot of the people that played it were disappointed by it. Mm-hmm. Just from what I've noticed. But including my fiance, that is, who loved Red Dead 1. She hasn't even beaten 2 yet, and she usually binges through games. But GTA I see, Fortnite I see, Pokemon Go, yeah, I wouldn't really. I don't know. I don't really see that as overrated, especially. I don't know. That's his opinion, though. It's okay.
Yeah, we're not hating on anyone's opinion. We're just saying they're wrong. Okay.
So
next
up we have Danny Rubio, first time commenter, I believe.
Yep.
I'm going to see if there's any answers in here. Despite being retro avant, how do you say that? Avant?
I think it's Avant.
Despite being retro Avant or United Nations style gaming, I have been able to keep up and enjoying the Fortnite and made a time-separated half-dozen Pokemon Go experience since its introduction. Keeping up with this practice as a scholar academic practitioner is a joy. I'm pretty sure he's replying to Nathan saying he likes Fortnite and Pokemon Go, which is cool.
I think so. But shout out Danny.
Yeah, shout out to Danny. Thanks for commenting.
All right. So do you want to do Christian now?
Sure. Christian Curtis, who is... I change his name every 2 seconds. I think he's still beautiful, Chris. But he says God of War, the series in general, Earthbound, Final Fantasy VII, Super Smash Brothers, and Fortnite. What do you think about this list?
I'm okay with 80% of it. Okay. Now, Earthbound, I understand a lot of people hate on that game because it's so hype. Final Fantasy VII, we've talked about it. Super Smash Brothers was actually, I think, Final Fantasy VII and Smash Brothers were actually on my list. Fortnite, I understand. Before, Christian actually played a lot more Fortnite than I did, so leave it as it may. My issue is the God of War series. How are you going to come out here and say one of my favorite series? Like, I know I've said that about a couple of them, but like, I've platinum 1, 2, and 3. I've actually absolutely enjoyed every single one of these games. It might be because I love Greek mythology and I love hack and slash games. But man, this series is just phenomenal. You play as a regular person who literally becomes a god and then beats up other gods. And you go through all of the Greek mythology. Very fun game. It has a little bit of everything for somebody. A little bit of something for everybody. I just like, if you're saying like the new one was overrated or like God of War 3 was overrated or something, I can understand that. But the series in general, I take offense to that. What about you, Corey? What do you think?
I've beaten 5 of the God of Wars, and I don't think they're overrated at all, honestly. I mean, if you don't like hack and slash, I guess I can see why you wouldn't like God of War, but they're fun to me. Earthbound, I've never played. Final Fantasy VII, I wouldn't call overrated because I think it's just a solid RPG. Like, even if you don't buy into the hype, if you like turn-based RPGs, you'll probably like Final Fantasy VII.
But he's saying it's overhyped because a lot of people say it's the greatest game of all time, and we already
They do say that.
Breath of the Wild is the greatest game of all time, apparently.
It's not my favorite game of all time, though. Breath of the Wild.
Wow. Yeah, I know. We've been over this.
Yeah, but but anyway, Smash. I agree. Smash was on my list, and Fortnite. I was talking to Greg about this off camera, and I'm just thinking I didn't put Fortnite on my overrated list because I don't feel like you can play like 700 hours of something and have a lot of fun and then call it overrated.
You played 700 hours of Fortnite?
No, I'm just saying like in general, like I don't think you can literally waste days of time on a game and then call it overrated because it's like you would have known this game was overrated well before you spent however many hours you spent in this
24
game.
days on this game.
Yeah. It's almost like eating an entire box of Twinkies and being like, Twinkies aren't that good. It's like, then why'd you eat a whole box of Twinkies?
Because they're in front of me, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, Fortnite, I can see how it's overrated. I just personally couldn't call it overrated because of the amount of time I sunk in it.
Exactly. And I completely agree. I could see why people would say it's overrated, but man, it's sweeping the nation. And it's made a lot of people lots of money. So
I think Battle Royale, I won't even say that because I sunk a lot of time in a Battle Royale. But anyways, I'm over Battle Royale. I'll just say that, though.
Yeah, I'm over it. Anyway, that covers our mailbox, I think. Am I missing anything, Corey?
Nope.
All right. Well, that was the mailbox. Moving on to our top 10 of the week.
Thank you, everyone, for writing in.
Stay tuned for our top 10 villains. And welcome to our top 10 list. Corey, are you excited?
I'm very excited.
Too. Now, this is the part of the podcast that we like to end with. Each week, we like to do a top 10 list for you guys, or a top list, because we think that top lists are kind of the essential part of video games discussion. So this week, we've gone through, backtrack a little bit. A couple of the lists we've gone through are overrated games, underrated games, time capsule games, characters, our top 10 favorite characters. And based off of the top 10 favorite characters, we wanted to do top 10 favorite villains in video games, because I'm a huge bad guy fan. I love bad guys because they're the coolest part of video games, quite often. My opinion. I think a good bad guy makes a game go from good to great. My opinion. If a bad guy is used right, because bad guys are usually cooler than the villain, have better lines than the villains, have better weapons, cooler weapons than the villains, and are usually overpowered.
Yeah, and they keep the story flowing.
Yeah, exactly. So, without further ado, we have both compiled a list of our top favorite villains. We'll discuss each of them, critique each other's, and then move on. I personally have 10 top with one honorable mention. That's the word I was looking for. Honorable mention. What about you, Corey?
I have my 10 and then 4 honorable mentions, but technically 5. I fused 2 of them together. By the way, if you guys want to give us your top 10 villains, be sure to write in all the places we said earlier and do that. We will read them.
Yep. Or if you just skipped ahead to this section, you can write in to rescapepodcast@gmail.com. However you're listening to us, if there's some sort of comment or message sitter, send us a message on YouTube, all major podcast listening, or if you're on Gaming Central, feel free to let us know as well. Gaming Central is our Facebook group. Feel free to join it. So, Corey, since you have significantly more additions to your collection than I do, why don't you start?
Okay, should I just do up until I have one honorable mention left, or just...
Yeah, because if you have a couple just like fillers in there, just let me know.
Okay, actually, I have okay.
Looking at mine, I have 2 honorable mentions. I don't know where one got deleted.
Okay.
So you do 2, I'll do 1. You do 2, I'll do 1.
Okay, so my first honorable mention is Goro Majima. He is the guy from Yakuza I talked about in the last list that shows
the guy that pops out everywhere?
Yeah.
Like, I will fight you now!
Yeah, he's like always in disguise. So yeah, he had to go on the list. So
is he the main bad guy? Remind me again. Is he the main bad guy or just some side rival?
He's just a side guy. He's basically like, what's the dude's name from Skyward Sword that always punks on you?
Groose.
Yeah, he's basically like Groose. It's like He's a antagonist to you, but he's not like the villain of the game.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and when you fight him, you get level ups and stuff if you beat him. Like you just get side stuff. But anyways, so my next one here is, I guess this is the fused one, Pyramid Head and the nurses from Silent Hill.
Yep.
The nurses are just very creepy, and they're all twitchy, and they have knives in their hands, and like every time you see them, you're like, oh gosh. And Pyramid Head, he speaks for himself. He was on my last list as well. So yeah. So what is one of your honorable mentions?
One of my honorable mentions, the ones that got deleted from my list, I wanted to put this guy on my actual list. Both of my guys I did. I guess that's why they're honorable mentions. But is Dr. Wily from the Mega Man series. I think he's so much fun. He's like a creative genius mastermind that just wants to take over the world. Typical bad guy stuff. But he does all this, creates all these bad robots, depending on which series you're in, to fight Mega Man and Dr. Light. And I just like his character design. He looks like a mad scientist. And he's just a fun character, I think.
Yeah. That's a good one.
A fun character that I'd like to hate.
That's a good one.
What about you?
Obviously, these next two are juggernaut bad guys in the video game world. I just had to mention them. I didn't put them on the top 10, but Bowser and Ganon. Those are the two that I just had to mention. Everyone knows who Bowser and Ganon are probably. And yeah, they just you can't do a villain list and not mention these two. Just saying.
Right.
Okay.
So, my other honorable mention, I'm going to butcher this name because I don't know how to say it. Girahim. Girahim? He's the bad guy on Skyward Sword. Sir I call him Lickitung because he's always like, hey, Zelda. And I don't know how to say it, so I think Corey's looking it up. But he's super cool looking, kind of creepy looking. He has like these diamonds and a super cool sword. But the reason he's not up on my list because I haven't beat the game, so I don't know how it ends. So I don't like putting a monster or bad guy on this list or a villain on this list without knowing their complete story, you know? So I didn't want to put him on the list, but he's a really cool design, and I like his powers. It seems to be like teleportation fighting style. So I think he's gross looking, but I like that he's trying to take over the world as the Demon Lord. I think he's pretty cool.
I think you say it Girahim.
Girahim? I've never figured it out. So Girahim is my honorable mention.
Nice.
What do you think of Girahim? I know you've experienced him.
I like him. He just seems kind of like a creeper to me.
Yeah, which I kind of like.
Like, I wouldn't leave my child in the same room as this guy.
No, especially if there's Zelda.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he's a Zelda villain. He's a good villain. Like, you don't like this guy. You want to beat him up when you see him.
Yep. And he's always like, oh, you're not worth my time. And then he runs
he's
off.
very, like, he's very, like a diva.
Yep, I like him a lot. So, anyway, moving on to our actual top 10 list. Who's your number 10, Corey?
My number 10 is Heihachi Mishima. He is the final boss in most, if not all, most of the Tekken games.
Okay.
He is the grandfather of Kazuya Mishima. I mean, the father of Kazuya Mishima and the grandfather of Jin Kazama.
Is that spoilers?
No. If you play Tekken, you know they're related.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this dude is just he's one of those guys you love to hate. Like, Kazuya was one of my favorite characters in Tekken 1, and then you see the cutscene of Heihachi literally picking up his son and throwing him in a ditch, like hoping he dies because he thinks he's too weak. And that's how Kazuya gets the big gash, like scar across his chest. It's from his dad throwing him into a ditch. And so yeah, like just playing through Tekken all these years of my childhood and getting to Heihachi, you're like, I'm gonna kick your butt, you stupid old man. And somehow he's like, even though he's super old, he stays super strong and super, I don't know. Heihachi Mishima, my number 10. What's your number 10, Greg?
My number 10. Wait, let me talk about this real quick. How old do you think he is?
I don't know. Let me see. Have you seen a picture of him?
Yes, like I when you described him to me, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, I know who that is. But I've never played a Tekken game, but he is like super old. But I mean,
Okay, in Tekken 1, he's 52, so he's 76 now.
oh my gosh, dude. Yep. Okay. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Okay. My number 10 is one of my lovable heroes who's just an absolute idiot. Is Captain Quark from the Ratchet and Clank series.
Yes, so good.
I love this guy. He turns out to be a hero. It's not really a spoiler because if like
I've only
he's
played the first one, by the way.
okay, yeah, yeah. So in the first one, he's a hero who is seen in this world as like a superhero, Superman type thing, but he's actually a fraud, and you learn that very early on in the game, so it's not a spoiler. And he turns into being the bad guy because he has to be a bad guy to keep his fame up. And he is so quirky, and he's a big buff green dude who's actually super weak, can't do anything right, and he just makes fun of everybody. And it's one of those where you're like, oh my gosh, he's talking again, but then he makes you laugh, and you're like, oh, okay. Okay, I kind of like you.
Do you think that My Hero got quirks from him?
No, because they're spelled different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Captain Quark is spelled with a Q.
Oh yeah, it's Quark, isn't it?
Yeah, Quark.
Okay.
Anyway,
gotcha.
So. All right,
okay,
number 9. Number 9 is okay. This is kind of a complicated, but I'm going to make it less complicated. It's Ansem from the Kingdom Hearts series. But more specifically, I'm keeping it to Kingdom Hearts 1 because for Kingdom Hearts fans out there, Ansem's kind of a recurring character throughout the entire series, and it develops his story a little bit, and I don't want to get into that, but just know he develops more than just the first game. But in the first game, he's the main villain, and that's the Ansem I'm talking about. He is the main villain who's trying to take over the world by releasing the Heartless, and he recruits your best friend, Riku, into it, and he's just an evil dude who actually has a really cool design. I love the long silver hair, and that he's an adult fighting these kids, and he still is, like, hating them, and he's just a really cool character, you know?
Princess
he's like,
Stealer.
Really, yeah, he steals all the princesses. He's like, release the darkness in your heart. Yeah, he's just a really cool character.
Good.
What about you? Do you like Ansem?
Yes, I do like Ansem. My number 9 is also a long silver-haired guy, Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. His sword is just so freaking cool. He's just a cool character. He's really agile. He's really just evil. And his sword's cool. His hair's cool. I don't know. I like his music. Whenever you fight him, it's like the best music ever. You know that? You ever heard the Sephiroth music?
Yes, yeah. Sephiroth's on my list, so I'll talk to him now. So yeah, for all those reasons, Sephiroth is one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. You'll ever meet. Yeah. He has an amazing backstory in Final Fantasy VII, if you've ever played it. But then he's like the ultimate bad guy, you know. In Kingdom Hearts, you fight him, and he's like the secret final super duper boss. And that opera rock music or whatever.
Yeah. But anyways, was he in the Colosseum?
Yes, he's in the Colosseum as the platinum trophy. Like the platinum, I think the trophy. Platinum, whatever it is. It's like the final boss.
Yeah.
And I can never beat him. But he has the coolest sword. He has an angel wing, a demon wing thing. He is by far super cool.
Yeah, very cool character.
Very cool character that I would love to have a statue of. And his sword is awesome. His sword is cooler than Cloud's sword, in my opinion. Everyone's like, Cloud has the coolest sword. It's big and thicky. And no, his is just like long and thin.
Big and thicky.
Big and thicky. You know, very thicky.
That's what she said.
All right, Corey, moving on. What's your number 8?
My number 8 is Mr. X from Resident Evil 2. Now, he's getting a lot of,
he's the big,
big buff dude in a trench coat.
Yeah, that follows you.
Huge guy. Yeah, he's getting a lot of fame right now from the remake, but this guy has been scaring me since the 90s, because when I played Resident Evil 2 on N64 back in the day, I still remember precisely watching him walking towards me on security cameras and being like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I go to leave and walk around this corner, and the mofo busts through the wall at me. Which, yeah, it busts through the wall. And I'm like, ah! But what's funny is like my memory of it and like what it actually looks like in 64-bit probably are not the same at all. Like if I probably watched it again, I'd be like, "That's not scary at all." But back then, I was freaking out. But that memory has always kept him as like a top villain to me, just because he freaked me out so bad when I used to play that game. But I'm excited to see him again in the remake. I bet he's even scarier now. But now there's mods. Yeah. Did you see the mods, Greg? For
Yeah,
Mr.
I've
X?
seen a lot of the mods. Yeah.
There's a Thomas the Train Engine, and
yeah,
and there's one where some kind of music plays every time he comes around, but it's like something that's like, I think it's like, "Every time I come around your London Bridge." I don't remember what it was, but something stupid plays whenever he comes around. But anyways, what's your number 8, Greg?
My number 8 is Giovanni from the Pokemon series.
I almost did Giovanni or Team Rocket, and then I didn't.
I was kind of debating this. I don't see Team Rocket really as villains because the anime really made them into like stupid. Prepare for trouble.
In Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, they actually show up with both of them in Meowth, which is really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. But Giovanni has like always been the super cool billionaire ruler from very cool looking. He's always wearing a suit with his Persian. He's never loses his cool until he does. But and then you find out that he's the 8th gym leader, and you're like, what?
Spoiler.
Oh, that's not a spoiler. The game's been out since '93. It's been out 30 years. And he's the leader of Team Rocket, and I've always thought he was super cool, and he always had super cool Pokemon, and he had Nidokings and Rhydons, and it was just Nidoqueens. He was such a cool character to me. And then in the movie, when he's trying to take over Mewtwo, I thought he was a great villain. So Giovanni is my number 8.
It's a good villain. I like it. What's your number 7?
I'm so excited to put this guy on my list. And I hope he's on your list. It is the Great Mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I've seen him. Junior showed him to me back in the day when he has the Pooh song.
Yeah. So if you guys have ever played Conker's Bad Fur Day, it's a Nintendo 64 game that was mature rated. I think the only one that was mature rated. But it's like you're a drunk squirrel or something like that, and the whole game is just like R-rated, hardcore, like people drinking, killing each other, a lot of blood. It was very revolutionizing for Nintendo. And one of the early on bosses is a great big pile of poop, and he sings opera, and he's like opera singing to you the entire time, and the song's hilarious, and Conker's interactions with him are just so great, and he literally throws poop at you, and you beat him by flushing him, and it's just so great. It's such a beautiful villain, and I just love it.
We need to vote that game in for Game of the Month so I can play it.
Yes, I would love to play that game again. Oh, man. It just brings tears to my eyes. I'm so happy thinking about that.
Poop usually makes you pretty happy.
Yeah. Anyway, what's your number 7, Corey?
Is it my turn to do 7 or yours?
I just did 7. Great Mighty Pooh was my 7.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mine is the Arbiter from Halo. Ooh. And the Arbiter is a rank bestowed upon Alien Covenant elites. So they're the aliens that walk around with the laser swords in Halo.
So I'm guessing you're just talking about Halo 1.
They're not in just Halo 1. Halo 2.
I know, but Halo 2, you work with an Arbiter.
I know, but they are still villains. Like, they're bad guys at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think they're cool because they had the sword, and the sword's my favorite. But you don't get the sword till Halo 2, right? You don't actually get to use the sword. Okay,
they're just cool characters. Like, they're just really cool looking. Like, hunched over aliens with the sword and stuff. They have cool weapons. They have the cool mouth that like opens like this. Like, I don't know. I just think they're just really cool villains in my opinion. And it was cool being one as well. Oh my gosh, that reminds me. I forgot a villain to put on my list. Dang
Who
it.
is it? Just tell us. Just tell us
The
now.
Big
After
Daddies
you're
and
done with
Big
barbecue.
Sisters.
Yeah, yeah. I just have a hard time saying those are villains because you get to play as one, and then you learn their story.
I guess a Big Daddy it can be seen kind of like a wild animal that if you mess with it, it'll kill you type of thing.
Exactly.
Not really a
Exactly.
villain.
Yeah.
Big
That's how.
Sister goes after you though.
Yeah, the big sisters you could definitely put as one. I would be okay with that.
But anyways, what's your number 6, Greg?
Wait,
Is
that
it
was
my
your
turn?
number 7.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, you got to go to your number 6.
My number 6 is Axel from the Kingdom Hearts series.
Oh, I love Axel.
Just really cool looking, very sly and smug whenever he talks. Like he's always 2 steps ahead of whoever he's talking to is what they're saying. Like they think they have like, haha, Axel, what about this? And he's always has something up his sleeve. Like just very, very smooth villain. You know what I mean? You know what I mean by smooth villain?
Yes.
Nothing's
But
ever, I don't know.
go ahead. No, continue. I'll wait till you're done before I.
Just like when you interact with him in cutscenes and stuff, he's never really like in a panic or like he's never really worried about anything. Like he thinks he just has it, like he's good. I don't know. What were you gonna say?
My only issue with this is I don't consider Axel a villain.
Okay, the thing you keep taking villains and not wanting to be villains because later on they might not be a villain. But
I
the
put
thing
Ansem
is,
in here. And
I know,
Ansem
but
may have been a villain.
I know, but you fight Axel. Axel is
You're talking
against
chain of memories when you first get introduced to him. Yes, okay.
Axel.
But even in chain of memories, he's not a villain.
What is he? What is he?
He's he's a helper. He helps you. Never once is he ever a bad guy, except for the very first interaction you're like,
He's
is this
not-
guy a bad guy?
He's
Just
he's,
because
he's not helping you for your own good.
I never said that, but he's not like out to rule the world or anything. Because I wanted to put
He's out to
Axel on
take over the organization.
Spoiler alert.
Which if you were in the way of, he would go after you.
I agree. Axel's one of my favorite characters in video games. But
Okay, is he an anti-hero? Is that what he is?
I would say so. I would say he's an anti-hero.
Okay, so well, he's a villain to you at one point.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry, not to get into like an argument with you. I just
Well, no, I see what you're saying. It's just I never
He's
saw
not
him
a
as an
villain.
ally.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like you're either with me or you're against me. I had to fight him multiple times, so
Okay, fair enough.
all right.
Okay, is it my turn?
Yeah.
What am I on 6?
Yep.
All right, this one might upset you a little bit, but Majora is
Nice.
one. I'm guessing this person's on your list. Majora is
May or may not be.
kind of on the villain side because in Majora's Mask, it's just a Skull Kid that just happens to get this mask, puts the mask on, and the mask makes the Skull Kid turn evil. So it's really hard for me to like. It might just need to be Majora's Mask as the villain. I think if you really think about it, rather than Majora, because I think Majora is the kid. If I think about it now.
We can just I put Majora as well.
Yeah, so Majora. Anyway, Majora, like, not necessarily, like, Majora's Mask isn't my favorite Zelda game. Like, it's a good game still, but, like, on the rank of Zelda games, I wouldn't put it very high because of the time restrictions. I don't really like that, and I know some people love that about the game. But the Majora's Mask, I think, is one of the coolest designed aspects in the Zelda franchise. And I just think it's so cool how he's always laughing and he's like and he like shakes his head. I don't know, it's just a really cool villain. And the fact that he's not like the person behind the mask isn't really a villain per se, kinda is, but like it's really the mask making him do it. I like that too. I think it adds more depth to the character.
Nice. Okay. Good call.
You want to talk about it now, or
I
you
will
want
when
to
I
wait?
get to it. I will when I get to it.
Okay, so my number 5. It's my turn, right, to go back to back.
Yeah.
Number 5 is someone you already discarded, was Bowser. I'm a big Bowser fan. I like Bowser a lot. So I'm going to talk about him. Bowser is like like Corey was saying earlier, he's like one of the epitomes of what a villain is. He's consistently seen as the bad guy. He's never seen as the good guy, unless you consider like Mario Kart or something.
Bowser's Inside Story.
Bowser's Inside Story. I've never played that one, but it's a DS game with Mario and Luigi. But right, isn't that where they like go inside of Bowser?
Yeah, which I guess technically they're controlling him, so he's not really a good guy. Never mind.
Yeah. So anyway, but Bowser's just big, bulky boss type who's always stealing Zelda, always taking your coins or stars in Mario Party.
You mean Peach?
Yeah, Peach. Sorry, it's not Zelda. What am I thinking? I was thinking about Blonde Chick. But I just have always hated Bowser, and anytime I hear that stupid laugh or see him, I'm like, oh, bad guy. So I think that he does a good job encapsulating what a bad guy should be.
He is. So long, me Bowsy.
Yeah, exactly. So, anything to add on Bowser? I know you already kind of talked about him.
Nope, I love Bowser. I mean, I don't know how he's going to make it work with Peach if he ever actually gets her to marry him and stuff, but have at it, Bowser. You do you.
You do you, boo-boo. All right, what's your number 5, Corey?
My number 5 is Dark Riku.
Oh, Dark Riku.
Yes.
We're about to start a dark trend here.
What?
I feel like we're about to hear a couple dark people.
Dark Riku is cool, and I really like... Oh, I forgot Dark Sora. I like Dark Sora, too. But anyways, Dark Riku is cool because you have... I love when they take...
Dark Riku.
Okay, Dark Riku is a... Here, I'll just read what he's... Given the name to the alternate form of Riku from Kingdom Hearts franchise when he is possessed by Xehanort's Heartless, entering his dark mode in Kingdom Hearts. He's the clone of Riku, basically, but like infused with darkness, and so he's like evil Riku, and he wants to take Riku's place. Like, he hates Riku. He hates the normal Riku. Because he thinks the normal Riku's weak. He thinks the normal Riku, like, is too much into his feelings. And he's like, you're a pans. I'm going to whip your ass. Like, this is Dark Riku. So, Dark Riku is just really cool. He has the cool suit, like the skin-tight suit with the freaking big heart on his chest. And he's got the dark sword. And he's kind of emotional, but he's still really cool. Do you like Dark Riku?
Yeah, Dark Riku's cool. I just didn't want to put him in here because I'm such a fan of Riku. You know?
Yeah, I feel you.
That's why I didn't want to put him in there. But no, he's a good villain.
Yeah, so...
But he's also like an extension of another villain, so... he's like a puppet. Anyway, not going to get into that.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be a puppet, and he's pissed off when he finds out he is a puppet. Yeah. Anyways,
it is. Number 4.
My number 4 is Majora.
Oh, I've heard this name before.
What makes Majora so great as a villain is he's that kind of, like, the scariest villain to me. The cynical, the crazy, like unpredictable. Like, he's just so out of his mind that you don't know what he's going to do. Like,
Joker-esque from the Batman series. Yeah,
but even Joker has motives. Like, Majora just seems like, what is wrong with your head? Like, you know what I mean? You're just like, like,
yeah.
I don't know. That's just the scariest villain to me, because you can't even, like, even if you wanted to try to barter with them, they're not going to listen to you. They don't care. Like, you can offer them $2 billion. Like, Majora wouldn't care if you tried to offer him money. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like a scary villain, and he's also really cool looking. I love the design of the mask. And yeah, so Majora, my number 4.
That was your number 4, wasn't it?
Yeah. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is someone else you've already talked about. It's Ganon, or Ganondorf. Really, I
chose really talked crap to me last time that I'm going to put Ganon not so high on my list that you stuck him in your top 5.
Ganondorf, not Ganon. Ganon's the monster version. Ganondorf, the actual man character. I think he's really cool. He's always super powerful, and I always think back to the two forms that really just stick out in my mind are the Ocarina of Time, when he's like the only man to be born to that the tribe,
Gerudos.
yeah, the Gordos, uh,
Gerudo.
Gerudos.
There
He's
you
like the only man in like 1,000 years or something. I don't know how the science works behind that, but
go.
and he has the thing on his forehead, the diamond, and he has the strength, the Triforce of Power, and he's super strong and he's super cool looking. And then I also think about the Wind Waker version of Ganondorf.
I was so surprised when he popped up in Wind Waker.
You're like,
Like,
what?
yeah, because it doesn't say anything about him like through the whole game, and I'm just like wondering, is Ganon in this game? And then boom, it's Ganon.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
You're like, what? No, I mean, it's not that big of a spoiler because he is the main boss, and it's not like near the
And
end
the
of the
game
game.
came
It's
with
like
a Ganon
halfway through the
statue.
game. Yeah, it's like halfway through the game. I feel like when you get to him, but you're right. You don't see him for a while. But yeah, and those two always just really pop in my head. And every time you see him, he's kind of like Bowser. You're like, yep, that's the bad guy. That's who I've got to beat this game. And he does a very good job putting it off in that essence. And I just think he's a cooler design than Bowser. Obviously, that's why I put him higher than Bowser.
Yeah, Ganon's super cool. He would be really high on my list if I wasn't trying to do like less Zelda characters.
Yeah.
So.
He's my second. I guess he's my favorite Zelda villain because I put him above Majora. Probably just because Majora is in one game. If Majora was a recurring character, he'd probably be higher than Ganondorf.
Yeah. Well, it's your number 3, right?
My number 3 is Sephiroth.
Okay. Okay.
He was pretty high on mine because he's such a cool freaking band.
He is. He's very cool.
Yeah. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Sin from Final Fantasy X.
Ooh, I almost put this, but I didn't want to spoil anything, and I feel like if you talk about Sin, you're going to spoil it.
No, I won't spoil it. I didn't put Sin's alternate form.
Okay.
Sin, when you meet him, he's just such a menacing character. Like he's so huge. He's so huge. He can basically like if you live on an island, he could just take your island out, like flood your island. And like
may not do that.
Yeah. he's just so scary. Like if I was out on a boat and I saw him in the water, like you're done. There's nothing you can do to this guy. He's just like you just see a big tidal wave and you're just like, I'm done. He just makes you feel so small. He's just
That's it.
Yeah. He's just so scary to me. It's just he probably I don't know. He looks kind of like a whale when you actually see him, but
he does, yeah.
But not knowing what he is and just seeing what he does to the environment around him is just scary.
And when you mention him and you're talking about him, there is a scene in the story where he's outside of an island, and the first time you really see him, like in his full monstrosity, and he like arches his back and stuff, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's something just about a villain making you feel so tiny that's just scary.
Yeah. And that's a great addition. I didn't want to put him on my list just because he's the main villain and there's a lot of story in that game around him. I just
definitely spoil some story with him, but I didn't do it, guys. Don't worry.
You did a good job. You spoiled a little bit, but only minor stuff. That doesn't really matter. But yeah. All right, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Albert Wesker from the Resident Evil series.
I knew you were going to put this guy. I knew you were going to put this guy.
He's just
Great
a really cool character. He was a good guy at one time, and then just the power.
Another one that you can kind of spoil some games with.
Yeah, the power just went through him, went to his head, and all of a sudden he's just like, he wears the cool sunglasses. He's like super fast, dodging all your bullets, and like he'd probably beat my butt pretty fast. I'll just say that.
No probably about it.
But yeah, so like with Albert Wesker, it's a cool dynamic that you go through these games like fearing zombies and they're all slow and you're like, oh, these zombies are scary, but I can take them out. And then you run into Wesker. And Wesker's super fast. Like he just wants that virus. He wants to do his dirty deeds. Like, I don't know, just very cool villain. And his son is in Resident Evil 6.
Yep. He's really cool too.
Yeah.
Yep. So
what's your number 2?
My number 2 is probably a guy that's not your number 1. Okay. And that is Bass from the Mega Man series.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, growing up, I always called this guy Bass because I thought he looked like a fish. But if you don't know, his name is Bass, and he has a dog named Treble. That's how you know his name is Bass.
Yeah.
So, Bass, for those of you who don't know, is a knockoff Mega Man version. It's a robot made of Mega Man's blueprints by Dr. Wily to counteract Mega Man.
So he's like Dark Mega Man, basically.
He's basically Dark Mega Man, but he's more like, yeah, he's got this aspect where he's like, he doesn't really care to beat Mega Man. Dr. Wily designed him to be like, you're going to be my version of Mega Man, and you're going to beat Mega Man and help me take over the world. And then Bass was like, no, I just want to fight strong people. And he kind of goes rogue in most of the games, and he even helps you sometimes. But most of the time, he just wants to fight you. And
he's not a villain.
He is a villain because he is
kidding.
the main bad guy in a couple of the games. So I want you to know he is still a villain. But his design is super cool. He's got a cape. I mean, come on. And then there's a really cool part where he fuses with Treble, his dog, and becomes like super bass. You know. Shout out Nicki Minaj.
All about that bass.
Yeah, but he is so super cool to me, and one of my favorite characters in the Mega Man series. And I think he's so, like, when you see him too, you're like, oh crap, I have to fight that guy?
I like his helmet.
That guy. Yeah, he is super cool. Are you looking at him right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. He is
the helmet with the yellow.
Design. Yeah, like the purple and the yellow. I like those colors together. Anyway, bass, number 2.
What's your number 1?
Number 1. Can I get a drum roll?
Oh, you want me to actually do one? I'm gonna edit one in, but.
Oh, okay, yeah. Can I get a drum roll? It is Seymour Butts.
What?
His name's Seymour from Final Fantasy X. He's my number 1 villain. But I always, anytime he talks, I'm like, oh, Seymour Butts is here.
I was like, I don't remember this.
So mad. No, his name's Seymour. He's super cool design. He's like got this robe type atmosphere, and he has blue hair, which I love blue hair. I love the color blue, and it's kind of sticky out. And early on, so he's a summoner, just like Yuna is in your party, who you actually have a thing for as the main character. And Yuna really looks up to this guy because he's super strong early on, but he turns, really quickly you find out he's a bad guy. And you fight him all the time throughout the games. He's like a boss 3 or 4 or 5 times throughout the games. And I just remember growing up, I wasn't very good at these games. And every time I had to fight Seymour, I got stuck.
He's hard.
There's one on an island that's super hard. There's one in an ice dungeon that is extremely hard. And
I think that's the one I had to spam my summons on.
And it's very awesome because he's super strong. And then there's one on top of a mountain that, oh my gosh, took me probably a couple months to beat when I was a kid. Seymour is super overpowered, but he's super cool looking at the same time. He's really buff, and he's got the blue hair, and he steals your girl.
He's got the blue veins.
Yeah, he's just pathetic. And he's he just looks down upon you, and he's super cool, but he's at the same time, I have more hate for this guy because he was such a pain in my side the entire time, and I really not really identified with, but I could really get into this game because I would just play through Tidus's eyes, and it was one of those games I really dove into, and I was able to be Tidus, and Tidus really hates this guy, so that might be a little playing into it because he tries to steal Yuna from him because he wants to marry her. Kind of Bowser-esque, Anyway, Seymour, top villain of all time for me, as of right now.
He's another one of those characters that's never really worried. They got it under control.
I got it. Even if you beat me, I'm still going to beat you.
Yeah, it's meh. I didn't try that time.
He is very cool. Very cool looking. It's people that aren't in your party also worship him because they think he's going to save the world from sin at the same time. So that probably makes him even higher on the scale because everyone else thinks he's a hero, except for you guys who know his true motives.
Know his true colors blue. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Anyway, do you like Seymour?
I do like Seymour. I mean, I think he's a cool villain, but like you said, his boss fights were so hard that I was just pissed off at him. Also, he's kind of a douche in the story, so I'm just like, I didn't like him, but he's a cool boss though.
That scene where him and Yuna kiss. Oh, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Got my blood boiling, dude.
It's like,
Anyway.
I'm gonna cut your hair.
Oh man, yeah, it was great emotions, great villain.
Can I get a drum roll for you? My number 1, Dark Link.
Who would have known?
Dark Link's just so freaking cool, man. Like he's like Link, who's also cool, but except the only bad thing about Dark Link is he doesn't really have a personality. He's just there to kill Link. So, but I just remember the scene fighting him. I think it was Twilight Princess. Have you played Twilight Princess? Mm-hmm. Do you remember, like, it's like an all-white background, but there's water on the ground, and all of a sudden Dark Link shows up?
And you're like,
yeah, it's just the coolest freaking thing. Like, just, like, sword fighting, like, dark version of yourself with all this water flying up off the ground. Like, I don't know. It's just... He's just a really cool character. I have a dark Hyrule sword, or Master Sword. I have a Dark Link Master Sword, an actual one, like a replica. Very cool. I want a dark Hylian shield. That'd be really cool. But, yeah, I just think Dark Link's the coolest villain there is.
Is Twilight Princess your favorite edition of him? Rendition?
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah.
You like it over Ocarina of Time? I think that one and Ocarina of Time are pretty high up there for me.
Yeah, I'd say.
I mean, I know he doesn't appear. He doesn't appear in every game, but the ones he does.
Yeah.
I think he's cool. I think his design is cool. Are his eyes red?
Yeah.
Or am I just thinking that? I was like,
yeah, they're red.
It's red, and I like that a lot.
I just like alternate versions of Link. That's why Fierce Deity Link was high on my list too. There's alternate versions of Link. It's cool.
Yeah, you're a Link fanboy though.
I am. I can't help it. I'm not gonna try to alter my list to not be true to myself.
I can be true to myself. So is Dark Link cooler than Link?
Yeah.
I agree with that too. I completely agree. Because usually Link's an idiot. He's like, huh? What?
And he's also like always trying to be good, and Dark Link's not. So
not me. On Skyward Sword, I always choose the douchebag. Like, because they'll let you answer. Like, at one point, I arrived just in the nick of time to save the day, and one of them's like, Link, you're here. And you could be like, am I too late? I'm glad I made it. And then there was like, of course I'm here. And I was like, of course I'm here. Nice. I try to make him cool. But yeah, Dark Link, he's a solid character. He's a solid villain. He just doesn't have any dialogue, and I need cool dialogue in my
Link
villains.
himself doesn't really have dialogue, though, so...
Yeah, he does. All right, well, that was our top 10 list of our favorite villains. Don't forget to let us know your villains. Feel free to email us at rescapepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll talk about it. Join Gaming Central, and we'll talk about it. And let us know on our comments below. Anything last thing you want to leave with our beautiful listeners, Corey?
No, we haven't thought about our next top 10 yet at all. So yeah, I guess next week's going to be a surprise.
A surprise for all of us.
If you have some suggestions before then, feel free to give those, and we might take them into consideration.
Exactly. If not, thank you guys so much for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. We'll see you next episode. Stay beautiful.
Bye.